Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrita Varshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varnendra Rudra Marutaha Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangha Padakramo Panishadaihi Rayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam na vidum sura suragana Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha. So we have seen the second chapter. Bhagavan ended with the description of a sthita prajna, person whose wisdom is established in the Supreme Self. Now comes the third chapter. The name of the third chapter is Karma Yoga. So the third chapter actually begins with a question of Arjuna. So we will start with that. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Atha Tritiyodhyayah. Arjuna Uvacha. Jayasi Chet Karmanaste. Mata Buddhir Janardana. Tat Kim Karmani Ghore Mam. Niyojayasi Keshava. Vyamishreneva Vakyena. Buddhim mohayasiva me. Tadetam vada nishchityam. Yena shreyohamafnuyam. So Arjun, he was in the battlefield and he had that conflict about whether he should fight or he should not fight. Bhagavan gave him the whole knowledge in the second chapter about the self and then took him to the peak when he spoke about the Sthita Prajna. How did the Sthita Prajna reach that state? He reached that state by contemplation. So now the question of Arjuna is, if you think that contemplation on the self is greater than action, Jayasi Chet Karmanaste Mata Buddhir Janardana. O Janardana, if you think that sitting quietly, contemplating on the self, withdrawing the senses, that leads to the supreme realization of the truth within, and that is greater than action, Tat Kim Karmani Ghore Mam, then why are you telling me to engage in action? And it's not an ordinary action, it is a ghor karma, it is a terrible action where I have to kill my own people. Neo Jayasi Keshava. And why are you telling me to act then? Because he told him in the second chapter earlier, before Sthita Prajna, that you have to do your duty, you have to act. And gave him different reasons. So now he is very confused. So he says that Vyamishreneva Vakyena, by mixed words, as though sentences, you are confusing me. Buddhi mohaya sivame. As though, that word eva is very good, important there. As though you are confusing him. Not that Bhagavan is confusing him. But he has got confused. So he says, as though it is confusing to me that why should I even act? Tadekam vada nischitya. Because on one hand you are saying that contemplation is greater, that will lead you to realization, that is freedom. And on the other hand you are telling me you should act. So you decide. Tadekam vada nischitya. You decide and you tell me which one is that by which I will attain Shreyas. Yena Shreyo Mapnoyam. By which I will attain that which is best for me. This is one good quality of Arjuna. He never asks something which is going to be pleasing to him. It may not even be pleasant. But what is best, that should be done. Even when he surrendered to Bhagavan, he asked the same thing. In the 2nd chapter, 7th verse, he surrendered. There also he said that Karpanya dosho pata svabhava prichhami tvam dharma samura cheta yat shreyasyat nishchitam bruhitam. What is the best, that you decide and tell me. So when we pray to the Lord also, that should be our prayer. That, oh Lord, please tell me what is the best for me. If I am confused and I am seeking guidance, let me pray for that. If I pray for something which is going to be convenient to me only, which will be comfortable to me only, then it's a limited prayer. So now this question of Arjuna actually is a question in everybody's mind. Many times when we are in the world, we also say that, स्वामी जी हम बहुत थक गए हैं, बहुत परेशान हैं, ये सब छोड़ छाड़ के कहीं चले जाएं, तो शांति से बैठ जाएं. Some camp, some retreat, go away somewhere, just withdraw and be silent. Try. Most difficult thing to do in the world is to be quiet. Very tough. But it is still possible to do. There is a preparation required. So the question of Arjuna is a common question that anyone would have, that if action is having limited result and contemplation, meditation gives greater result, why should we even act? Many people may even think that way and leave, abandon their duties, everything, and then try to become spiritual. Because when people think that spirituality means leave, drop. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to say, that if you want to know the essence of the Geeta, keep on repeating that word loudly and fast. Geeta, 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 Geeta. What will you get? Tyagi. The essence of Geeta is Tyagi. Become a Tyagi. So one thinks that Tyagi means renounce. Renounce the duties, renounce work, renounce the world. But if that was the case, if that was the case, Bhagavan, no, I'm saying you. So he says that if that was the case, then Bhagavan should have allowed Arjuna to jump. But he wanted to go. Leaving action, abandoning action, he wanted to go, but Bhagavan engaged him in action. And many people think that, Mahabharata war happened actually because of Krishna only. Today only I was there in a satsang in Cup Parade in the evening. Somebody's mother's first death anniversary and they wanted a Geeta satsang. So they had invited, I went. Then in a question and answer session, one person asked, Krishna only was the instigator. He instigated the war. Arjuna was happily going. War would not have happened. So people think that way, that Krishna instigated him and that's why that war happened. But he did not instigate him. It was his duty. If he had not done that duty, he would have incurred sin. So what is this question of Arjuna? Why do we need to act then? The basic question is, why should we act? Why do we work in this world? If everything that we are going to acquire is going to remain here, is ephemeral, temporary, and action has no capacity to grant me liberation. Because whatever result comes from action will be temporary, and realization is not a temporary fruit of an action. It is to discover that state of absolute truth, peace, happiness, which is there at all times, including now, and which doesn't change. Now, how do I realize that if action is not going to lead me to that? So then why should I act? That's the question. In the world, why do we act? Fundamental question. What is the purpose of work? But why do you want to do the duty?
Happiness.
But that's what it is saying, that work is not giving you happiness. Work is giving you temporary pleasure, results, all that. I am not asking you a textbook answer. I am asking you general question, that why do we work? Each one of us, we are working so hard.
Use our time for
To use time. Because we have desires, to fulfill desires,
achieve
to
goals.
earn money, to survive.
Achieve goals.
Knowledge. Knowledge also.
To gain knowledge,
It increases our knowledge.
it increases our
Skills,
knowledge in
yeah.
different fields.
People working in different fields makes a society.
Dynamic society, when people are working, active, otherwise it's a lazy, lethargic, dependent society. But what is the real purpose of work?
We are destined for it.
To realize one's potential.
So some work to realize our potential,
Self-satisfaction.
some work for satisfaction, some work for money, some work for making a difference to people around. There are different purposes of work, and each one must discover their own purpose. Generally we say broadly that we work for pleasure, power, people, possession, prestige. 5 things. Pleasure, power, position, people, prestige. But all these things which we get through work, will that help me to reach the goal of life? That is the question. Because if it doesn't help me to reach the goal of life, or prepare me for that goal of life, then there is a limitation to that work. Generally our vision of work remains only limited to these actually. Pleasure, power, position, prestige, people. That is the work. I mean, there is no doubt that that is normal and that is fine to get through work. But the same thing which can be utilized for something much more deeper, if I have the right knowledge and awareness, I am going to utilizing it for a very ordinary purpose. And hence this question Arjun has, that why do I have to even work? Especially this action of killing people. I am happy to sit quietly and meditate. So now Bhagavan gives a very nice answer to him. Let us see that. What does the Lord say? That what is the real purpose of work? In the 3rd verse he says, Ch.3 Lokesmin dvividha nishtha Pura prokta maya nagha Jnana yogena sankhyanam Karma yogena yoginam. So the Lord says, Lokesmin dvividha nishtha. In this world there are 2 broad paths. And he uses the word nishtha. Nishtha means avoidance. So a person must stick to that path, whichever one is eligible for, and get a firm abidance in that. So what are these two parts? Lokesmin Vividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Mayanaka. And this is not something that Krishna is saying as his intellectual theory. He is saying that this has been there revealed in the Vedic times itself, and I am just sharing that with you. Pura Prokta Mayanaka. What are these two paths? Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam. One path is path of contemplation. Remember here, Jnana Yoga is not one of the four yogas. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Jnana Yoga. In this context, Jnana Yoga word means the path of contemplation. It does not mean the path of knowledge as separate from path of devotion, action, and Raj Yoga, which is self-discipline. I will explain what that means. So one is, he says, Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam, Karma Yogena Yoginam. Second path is the path of action. In fact, it is path of dedicated action, which the yogis follow. So now he has divided this into two broad parts, and which is what the Vedic culture has done. In simple words, what it means is there is a preparatory means and there is a direct means. For, let us say, cooking. What to cook? Khichdi. Chalo, khichdi. So for khichdi, that rice and the dal and then the washing of that and cleaning it, and then you have the cooker and then you put it in and mix it and haldi and salt and everything you put and vegetables. All that is the preparation. What is the direct means? Lighting the fire. Fire is the direct means. Till that fire is not lit, the cooking will not happen. Can we say that because fire is a direct means, I don't want to do preparatory means. I am going to straight away put the vessel, light the fire. What will happen? Vessel will only burn. There is no cooking, no khichdi will not happen. And can we say that no, I am going to do only preparation. No, very nicely I am going to wash everything, clean everything, put it in the utensil. But I am not interested in lighting the fire. The moment I mix it all, khichdi apne aap ban jayegi. It will not happen. Can you do this? Avoid one path? No. Both paths are necessary. Now when both paths are necessary, can it be done simultaneously? Swamiji, actually it can be done simultaneously if we don't make it in cooker. That example has a limitation. We are not interested in making khichdi. We are interested to understand the concept. So that if I have to do it in the cooker, then I have to finish the preparation, put it together, and then light the fire. So it is not parallel, it is serial, one after another. So in the same way here, when it is said there are two parts. One is the path of preparation, which is what is indicated by the word karma yogena yoginam. So those who have to prepare their minds to realize this truth. So the mind must be pure, which means the selfishness must go away. Then only the ego, which becomes very thin, can be blasted. Otherwise it is not possible. So mind must become pure and selfless. It must become single-pointed. And it must become subtle. When I say mind, it includes buddhi, mana and buddhi, subtle body or the inner equipment. So mind and intellect must become single-pointed, pure and subtle. Now that can be done through the preparation. So karma yoga means dedicated action, dedicated service to people around. Through that my selfishness will reduce, purity will increase, single-pointedness will increase, subtleness will increase. So that is one path, which is preparation. Same way through bhakti also, same way through jnana marg, and same way through Raja Yoga. These four parts are the preparatory paths. And also remember, these four we are calling four because of predominance. of a personality. It is not that they are exclusive. In Karma Yoga there is Bhakti also, because without Bhakti Karma Yoga is not possible. And to perform Karma Yoga I must have the knowledge. Otherwise one doesn't know what is Karma Yoga. So actually each path is integrated with the others. But predominantly if I am emotion oriented, then I follow path of devotion. Predominantly I am physically active, very action oriented, dynamic, then follow the path of Karma Yoga mainly. Other two are also included in that. So when I do this for a few years, I prepare my mind, then I am ready for contemplation. That is what is in the second path, the path of steady contemplation on my true nature, that I am Sachidananda or I am one with the Lord. Whichever path one is following, in that path the contemplation and a higher stage one will come to. So that is the direct path, that I directly contemplate on my identity with the truth. In Karma Yoga I am preparing myself. And the ego is so strong that even if it is told to me that you and God are one, or you and the Absolute Truth are one, nothing will happen. We will say, chalo aage badho, aur kya hai, bataiye. Is there something more practical which I can apply? Please tell me. Why? Because I am not yet ready for it. Hence, what we need to do is follow this path serially. Many people, that's why when they try meditation and the mind just wanders, one finds it so disheartening that, what is this? My mind keeps on wandering. I can't focus on the truth, or I can't steadily chant a mantra, or I cannot, visualize the form. Why? Because the preparation required for it is not enough, is not done. And I am trying to attempt exactly like that what we discussed earlier. Straight away light the fire, put the vessel. Nothing will happen. So that's why he says that, oh Arjun, there are these two parts in the world. The path of Karma Yoga, which includes all the other three, is the preparatory path. And you must follow that, because Arjun is not at that level of directly going and sitting and contemplating. Once you are prepared, come to the path of contemplation. Basically in that same path you will go ahead. In Karma Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga or Raj Yoga, whichever path you take up predominantly, in that same path you will come to the higher level of contemplation or complete devotion, surrender, etc. That is the second path, which is the path of directly contemplating on oneness. And the knowledge of the self arises and the person is free. That is the path which a Sthita Prajna has used. But before that he has already done Karma Yoga. This clarity Arjun did not have. That first I need to do my duty, etc. and prepare myself for that path of contemplation. So the purpose of our work mainly is purity of mind. Pleasure, power, prestige, people, position, these are all there, no doubt, and you need them in the world. But these are not the main purpose of work. The main purpose of work is purity of mind. Did that work give me that selflessness? Did that work make my mind more peaceful? Did that work not only bring out my potential, but made me more humble? My self-importance reduced. I am able to connect with more and more people very spontaneously. I don't have barriers of ego and blocks in my mind. I feel the love in my heart. Now that is the main purpose of work. If we see in the world, exactly opposite happens. Work becomes the cause of stress, work becomes the cause of worry, work becomes the cause of conflict, work becomes the cause of so much of violence. Why? Because the understanding is not clear that through work, if I use it in the right way, I can free myself. I can free others. But if I don't know the right approach to work, and I think that work is only a means for attaining position, and somehow I have to get that position, and it doesn't matter, the means will justify, the goal will justify the means. that holds no water. That's why the means is so important as the goal. Because means is purity of mind. And what is the goal I have to achieve? Is the knowledge of the self, which can come only when the mind is pure, when the ego is less. Then only the identification with the body goes and one realizes the truth. Hence, Karma Yoga is a very, very, very important stage in one's life. Never ever think that Karma Yoga is lower, meditation is higher, and we are stuck in this samsara, and why we have to do all this. I have a family, I have work, I have social obligation, I am stuck in this samsara. No. If we were ready for Dhyan Yoga or contemplation, Bhagavan would have straight away put us in the Himalayas. Not if the mind is steady, mind is ready, and don't jump on the first day itself. My mind is steady, I am ready, I am going. Try for a month, 2 months, 6 months. See if that steadiness remains throughout. See if there is enough dispassion, that there is no attachment in the world with anybody or anything. Then if you are ready, go. I'll tell you the best part. This question only will not remain. Should I go or not go? As long as the question remains that should I go or not go, remain there. Continue to do the work. Continue to do seva. The day that question only will disappear, because that is what Karma Yoga will do. The ego will become thin. That question won't remain. Mirabai never asked the question, should I remain or should I go? When I am ready to go into sleep, does the question remain? Should I sleep or not? One is just sucked into sleep. When I am ready to transcend the toys of childhood, does the question remain that should I leave the Barbie doll or not leave? But till you are having that question, hold on to the Barbie doll. What is there? The day that comes, when that maturity comes, automatically you will drop it. You don't have to ask. So Bhagavan gave this very clear distinction to Arjun, that Arjun, you must stay, do your duty, and never think that it is lesser than contemplation. For what we are eligible, when we do that, we make ourselves ready for the next stage. But if I don't do what I am eligible for, and just keep trying to attempt that next stage, I will neither be here nor there. That is a big pain. The beauty of spiritual path is only this, that when I walk from where I am eligible and I start walking, every moment I will feel joy. It is not a big struggle, pain, difficult. If it is like that, that means either I am not having clarity, I am not practicing it properly, or I am simply trying to jump, which I should stop. So very clearly he says this, and so then he goes on to explain to Arjun that what is this path of Karma Yoga actually, in the sense that the preparatory path, and then he specifically focuses on Karma Yoga as one of the 4 preparatory paths. So that's what this chapter is. So now he starts. A very nice point he makes here when he says that you don't achieve this supreme state in the 4th verse by completely dropping whatever you have. Na karmanam anarambhat naishkarmyam purushoshnute. Na cha sanyasanadeva siddhim samadhigacchati. So there are these 2 misunderstandings that one has. That Swamiji, whatever I have now, जितना संसार फैलाया बस उतना, अब नया कुछ भी नहीं करेंगे. Which at a certain stage of life is very good and very necessary. But some people do this, ignoring their duties. They will say, nothing new I will start, nothing. By not starting an action, one will never realize bliss. Because if there is a desire, if there is a vasana, and if it is there in my mind, by simply not starting, I am only suffocating and suppressing. It will not lead to any higher evolution. So if there is a desire that, I must start something, or I must express myself through whatever, art, music, dance, literature, whatever it is. Now, by not starting it, it is not going to go away. Nor by dropping whatever one has already. Not just sannyasana deva. That I have this responsibility, I drop all of them. Bhagavan says that neither of these two will lead you to bliss. Because many people think either of this or both of this will lead to bliss. Then drop everything, don't start anything new. Then what will you do? But simply sit quietly. Nothing will happen with that. Or just drop everything in the family, go away. Nothing will happen with that. Or continue to remain in the family but nothing new, no new initiative. Vanaprastha level, sannyas level, if one wants to do that, that is fine. But when one is in the household, one doesn't want to do anything more out of fear that if I do it, it will bind me, then it is not going to lead to the higher state. Because the basis of that is not mature evolution and mature thinking. The basis of that is fear. That fear itself will bind. That if I start anything new, I don't want to get entangled. Entanglement doesn't come by starting anything new, please. Entanglement comes when I don't know how to handle that and what should be my attitude and relationship with it. So many people don't expand their business, many people don't expand work, because they think that it's all entanglement. If Vivekananda ji had thought that way, Ramakrishna Mission would not have had 100 years now. They have been serving for so many years now. One can always think of it as an entanglement. Arey, ek aur ashram, entanglement. Who will manage it? It's a big pain, it's samsara only. We don't want to start. Sometimes it's a wise decision considering that there are limited resources and let me expand the resources, people then start. That's a different thing. Fear is not the basis. Escapism is not the basis. So here he gives these two situations. He says, Arjun, it is not that by dropping everything and you going away you will attain bliss. Or by not starting something new you will attain bliss. By staying where you are, you do your duty, you will attain bliss there. So now he starts the whole science of karma yoga. Most fundamental point he will start with, and he says that action is unavoidable. 5th verse he says, Nahi kaschit kshanam api, not even for a single moment, jatu tishtati akarma krita. A person can stay without doing action. Even if I stop all my physical activities, physiological activities are all going on. Breathing is happening, digestion is happening, assimilation is happening, all that is happening. Thinking is happening. We saw laws of karma, right? 6 laws of karma. In Geeta in practice we are not seeing. Okay. We will see one. Will come. First we should be clear exactly what is karma first of all. Is karma is equal to activity? What does karma mean? Is karma activity? Selfless activity? No. I am asking basic meaning of karma. What is karma? Movement is called karma.
Actions and reactions.
So actions and reactions, that's a synonym of karma or the English meaning of the word karma. But what does it signify? Any doing only is action. So if I don't do anything at the physical level, then there is no karma happening.
The result of your actions.
That is karma phala.
Action with the expectation of
That's nishkam karma.
No, action with expectation is sakam karma.
Sakam.
So if I I'll give you a few examples and you tell me what is karma. If I am sleeping and in sleep I kick my neighbor, is it karma or not karma?
It is good.
For
You
whom?
don't know you're kicking.
for you person who's
How for me? I am not aware, I just kick.
Action with a motive.
Occurred by you.
Action with a motive.
But there was no motive in this. No?
There might be a
So if it is conscious, then pretending to be asleep, then it's a different point.
Then you'll have a karma phala.
Then you have a karma phala also for it. Suppose I instigate somebody, like Mantra instigated Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi called Dashrath Maharaj, sent Ram away for 14 years. Kaikeyi did everything. Mantra didn't do anything. Mantra only spoke to Kaikeyi. So did Kaikeyi do the karma? I mean, Mantra do the karma or no?
Yes.
Why?
She instigated.
So physically she didn't do anything, but
Speech, she used the speech. No?
intentionally she did.
She planted an idea.
Now dengue is very common. No? So if I kill the mosquito, is it karma or not?
It's good.
Karma?
Good karma.
I am walking on the road. I am walking on the road and so many ants and living beings are being killed. Is it my karma or not?
Yeah, I guess.
Even without chappals and they walk
No, even without chappals, you walk, Jeeva Hatya happens only.
Lesser.
Minimize it.
Lesser, yeah.
So if I do anything unknowingly, is it karma or not?
It is.
That means then it is very difficult.
Known and unknown, everything is karma.
Then everything is karma. Then you tell me what is not karma? If whatever I do knowingly and unknowingly both is considered as karma, then what is beyond the scope of karma you take? Is there anything left after that?
The degrees are different.
Okay, so in karma degrees may be different, but is there anything out of scope of karma then?
No, I guess not.
Nothing is left. Then there will be a big problem. So the definition of karma is equal to. So if I am sitting and thinking, okay, is that karma or not?
Yes.
Why? I am not doing. Na? Somebody defined karma as doing. I am not doing anything.
Mental energy.
Good thoughts, bad thoughts.
So why is there karma? It's thoughts. Now why is it karma?
They
Turns
translate
into action.
energy,
No?
yeah.
It turns into action. It's like an instigation.
So if I don't think, suppose I just feel love in my heart, is it karma or not?
Yeah.
It's emotion.
There's no karma.
Of course, greed, lust, all these are emotions. But
Because
they
it
are
So they are emotions, they come and go. Is it karma or not?
It's karma. It
Feel
changes
love
your
and
way
you
of
show
thinking.
it in some form.
So if I don't show it at all, then it's not karma.
No, it
I am boiling inside when I look at that person, I am cursing. What an idiot!
it will translate into your
Then
thoughts.
is it karma or not?
Of course, it's karma.
It's like an instigation of
Yeah.
mantra. No? It's like
So you see the definition of karma is this. Action done with body, mind, intellect. Plus intention plus doership. This is the definition of karma. Any action done with the body, mind, intellect. It is not only body.
All the three or
All the three or any one.
so plus one.
I'll come. Action done with BMI in computer language and or दोनों लगाओ साथ plus intention with which it is done plus the doership. Doership is very important. If doership is not there, it is not your karma. Please remember. Unintentionally, Jeeva Hatya which happens is not our karma.
like this, the ants and everything gets killed is not our.
Unintentionally. You look at it and stamp and kill, then it is karma.
When we are walking in
Yeah, unintentionally it is not added to my karma. No.
cockroach is killing with the heat is.
That is not intentional, obviously.
That's karma.
That is all karma. Intentionally is karma.
So we should allow them to be around.
I am not saying that. In that, doership is important and your intention is important. How we kill, I tell you, mercilessly we kill. Have mercy in it. मच्छर को मारने के लिए इतना जोर लगाएंगे, इतना चाहिए क्या मच्छर को मारने के लिए? और इतना वेंजेंस के साथ तुम मर जाओ. Even if you have to kill, first of all, killing is the last choice. In the car and all, if you are sitting and mosquito has got in, just open the window, let it go out. We have no responsibility to liberate mosquito, okay? Because many people have that false notion. मैंने उसको मोक्ष दे दिया. Actually, who are you to give moksha? Give yourself moksha first. So we have no such business to do. And if at all we have to kill, did you see that Avatar movie? I don't know if you saw Avatar. In that, if they kill, what do? They pray first. They seek forgiveness. They say, I'm very sorry, I have to do this. It will sound very stupid if I say that, but that is called sensitivity. You are killing a jiva. Okay. Somebody gives one slap to your child, you feel hurt. And here you are killing one jiva. Finished. And from the karmic standpoint, the value of a mosquito and the value of a human being as a jiva is the same. Because the same soul is there in both. Mind-wise, okay, it is different and all that, so the implications are different in the world. But from karmic standpoint, it is the same. So we need to be sensitive that if there is a jiva and I am taking that life of the jiva, so the doership is there, but the intention should be, let there be some sensitivity, some sympathy. Pray that may the Lord take care of that jiva. I am sorry for doing this. That much sensitivity should be there. So now the idea was, whatever karma we do with body, mind, intellect. So even thinking is a karma. In fact, that is a much, much, much stronger karma, thinking and feeling, than the actual action. So if I am feeling, which helps me to be positive, negative, and accordingly the karma will come. For example, the doctor, the intention of the doctor is not to kill. The intention of the doctor is to save. But suppose the patient dies, doctor will not get the negative consequence of it because the intention was always positive. But a murderer's intention is to kill. So then that intention will give a negative result. However polished, however good externally the action may seem to be. Let us say, for example, I am giving you a traditional example, you can apply it in any context. For example, Shakuni appeared to be a well-wisher of Kauravas. But what was his intention? Was to destroy them. So externally, however positive that karma may seem to be, and however, well presented it is and all that, the intention is negative, that decides the negative, whether that karma is negative or positive. And that accordingly that karma phala will come. And if there is a doership behind it, then only it will come to that person. Like a small child does not have a doership. Very small child. So that very small child does not need to face the consequences of its own actions. Because the doership is not there, even the intention will not be, it wouldn't have developed the capacity to have an intention. So this, if I understand that karma is anything that I do with body, mind and intellect, according to the intention with the sense of doership. That is the technical definition and comprehensive understanding of what is karma. Now understanding this, Bhagavan says that there is not a single moment we are without karma. Not a single moment. Physically we are still doing action. Even when we are asleep. Yes, doership is not there, but the body is going through whatever it is going through. So body is still active. So his point of saying this was that action cannot be divorced from life. Our attempt in spirituality is not to run away from action or to end the action. Our attempt of spirituality is to use action to transcend action. To purify the intention and to reduce the doership is the purpose of action, not to cut the action. Yes, those actions which are prohibited, which are harmful, which should not be done, they should be cut. There is no question about that. But on the whole, action cannot be cut from life. So those who keep on thinking that that I will cut out all this, then I will be more peaceful, that is a myth. Because if I am not ready for it, even if I cut out, something else will fill. And typically we find that, that is what happens. And so he says here, karyate hi avashak karma. Everybody will be forced to do action helplessly. Avashak karma. By what? Sarva prakriti jaya gunahi. Everybody will be forced to do action by their own prakriti, innate nature. Okay. Innate nature will not allow them to sit quietly. But those people who have prepared their minds using karma, which is what this chapter is all about, when they have done that, then their innate nature only has become so sattvic that it will allow them to be quiet. But there also they are engaging in a subtle karma which is called as contemplation. It's not that they have stopped all activity. They have changed the nature of activity because their intention has changed, their doership has reduced. So the idea is finally to go beyond doership so they will be able to sit quietly and realize the truth. When they realize the absolute truth, that is the state of actionlessness. That is what he said naishkarmya in the previous verse. Naishkarmya means actionlessness. It is not ending all action, it is going beyond action. So there is no doership in such a person. So how that person has come to actionlessness? Because the person has experienced thoughtlessness, desirelessness. Because there is no desire anymore to seek happiness from the world outside, thought agitations are less, eventually thoughts also stop in contemplation, actions have also stopped. That person has attained that state of sthita prajna in the state of samadhi. And such a person, when he comes out and he acts also, because the sense of doership is not there, the intention is 100% selfless. 100% good. And only such a person can be 100% good. No selfishness, absolutely in that heart. That is what is the heart of a saint. Full of compassion, full of unconditional love, full of bliss, full of service, full of peace. Not a little trace of selfishness. Nothing that person wants for oneself. Everything will be only for the society, for the people around, serve. So that way, that person has reached the state of actionlessness. So even if you see that person acting dynamically, that person actually is established in actionlessness because he has gone beyond ego, gone beyond doership, intention has become 100% pure. So only a realized master can actually be there. Everybody else has to act. Now only choice is how to act. The choice is not on whether I should act or not act. There is no choice in that. But there is a big choice in how to act. And that's what this chapter is about. So that we will take up tomorrow. That how to act so that we fulfill the main purpose of work, which is unity of mind. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate